The following program is a public access production. Comcast is required to provide time on this channel and make it available pursuant to franchise agreements with the communities we serve. Comcast is not affiliated with the following program or the producers of public access programming and is not responsible for the content. The following program does not reflect the opinions of Comcast or its affiliates.
Hello and welcome to the Tinley Park Chamber of Commerce cable TV show, which, as you may already know, airs every Tuesday on the community channels for Comcast and AT&T. My name is Joe Ficarro. I am happy to be the cable show host. I am on the Chamber's Board of Directors, a past president, and I work with the Chicago Southland Convention and Visitors Bureau for membership recruitment. We are pleased to have with us once again just a fine organization, a representative from a fine organization, none other than Karen Leluga. Karen is the Director of Resources for the Crisis Center. Karen, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Joe. I'm very happy to be here today.
We're always happy to have you. And I know you've got some new information, maybe some information people have heard, but there's always some new viewers out there. So why don't we get to the information about the Crisis Center so those who may need it can call or go online if need be. But Karen, why don't you tell us just quickly, what motivated you from going into this type of work?
Sure, Joe. I've been in the nonprofit sector for quite a few years, and it's the helping people that I really enjoy. So at the Crisis Center, I know that every day that I'm helping someone, and that's really what motivates me to stay in nonprofit.
That's great. And they need people like you.
Well, thank you, Joe.
And I know there are a number of other people there that are very compassionate, and that's what people who are in need need.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely.
So, Karen, well, you've told us what motivated you to go into it. Tell us a little bit about the history of the Crisis Center itself.
Sure, Joe. This is a very special year for us. The Crisis Center began in 1978. Our founder, Diane Masters, and a group of women from the Association of University Women wanted to do a study regarding if there was a need to help women who were in a violent situation in the region. And little did they know that they would begin a hotline in Diane's kitchen and the phone would just ring constantly. So we began in 1978 with those humble beginnings. We were incorporated in 1979, and this year is our 35th anniversary or commemoration of the Crisis Center for South Suburbia.
35 years of growth and development. That's pretty phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Well, you've just told us how long the Crisis Center has been in operation. If you would, tell us some of the different facets of the Crisis Center, which would maybe describe to some of the viewers whether or not it fits a need that they may have.
Sure, Joe. We are essentially first and foremost about safety for women and children. So that is our main mission, is to provide essential safety and housing and services for women who are in a situation of domestic violence. All our services are free. We have a 35-bed shelter here in Tinley Park, and we also provide counseling, hospital advocacy, and court advocacy for women who need these services.
Okay, so that's 35 beds.
35 beds.
Now, I understand, having spoken with you in the past, once you've reached that limit, what do you do?
We have a referral service, and we are connected with many other shelters in Illinois. So there's a referral service to help with that. In the last 2 years, sadly, we've been at 110%.
Really?
Almost all the time. We have 8 cribs, and it's a 35-bed facility with 8 cribs. So as much as our mission really is to eliminate the problem, but until it's gone, we need to provide these services for women and their families.
Well, thank God that you all are there.
Right. Well, thank you.
And I understand just like with businesses themselves, you're not you don't discriminate based on almost any aspect, I would guess. And briefly, while we don't want to belabor it, I know for the most part it's women and children.
Right.
But if a man finds himself in a situation, you have a referral for men as well then?
Absolutely. We have a 24-hour hotline 7 days a week, and if a male calls, we can also refer them to services. But our house is for women and children only.
Is there a particular ages, minimum ages, maximum ages, or none at all?
No, none at all. We help women of all ages, children of all ages. They could go to school from our facility. Women can go to work from our facility. We have no age discrimination or age limit, I would say, at all.
All right. Now, one of the questions that you very graciously provided me with, because I had asked, what services does the Crisis Center offer victims of domestic violence?
Right. We, as I said, we offer, everything is free of charge. So the women who come to us can go to our Neat Repeat resale stores in Orland and Worth and get the clothing that they need, because many times they don't come with anything to us. There's group counseling, there's children's counseling. We have a hospital program where we're connected with Advocate Christ Medical Center. They can get court help. We can help them with resumes, help them with job searches, help them get back on their feet, and so that they can have some hope and have safety in their life.
And it sounds like while they're going through the crisis that they're experiencing, there's somebody there pretty much every step of the way.
Absolutely.
So they're not alone.
They have case managers along with the counselors, residential services, so absolutely.
Now, how does a person in need contact the Crisis Center?
They can reach us through our confidential hotline, which the number is 708-429-7233. And that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
24/7. Again, that's 708-429-7233. 24/7.
Correct.
365.
Correct.
All right. All right. Now we've got, and also for those that want information, you do have a web page on the World Wide Web, crisisctr.org. That's CRISISCTR.org. Did I do that right?
You did that perfect.
Okay. Now, you are going to celebrate the 35th year.
Correct.
How are you doing that?
We commemorated it on April 4th, and from there we are having a year-long campaign called our Family Focus Campaign.
Family Focus, all right.
Right, where we'd like to raise $55,000 additional money, which is $1 for every woman and child we've helped in the last 35 years, which is nearly the population of Tinley Park. We've helped 55,000 women.
Thank God it's not all from Tinley Park.
Correct.
Right.
So we are looking, it's a family focus campaign to help with services empowering the women.
All right. Well, that is a fundraising campaign.
Correct.
55,000.
Correct.
And it should be achievable. There are a lot of generous people out there, and if you feel the spirit move you, please contact the Crisis Center, either via their website or their phone number. Now, do you have some upcoming special events in July, August, or the remainder of the year?
Yes, Joe. We have our Diane Masters golf outing named after our founder, which is happening on Tuesday, August 12th. And we have two title sponsors this year, Four Seasons Heating and Air Conditioning and Exelon are title sponsors. It's going to be a great day. It's a shotgun that starts at 9 o'clock. Last year we sold out. So for more information, they can go on our website if they'd like to sponsor or play in the golf outing.
I know I've been there for a couple of years,
Yes.
not as a golfer necessarily, and a lot of great people there, a
Absolutely.
lot of camaraderie, and it's moving. All of the events are very moving. Karen, thank you very much for being with us, and please contact the Crisis Center for South Suburbia and help with their fundraising if you can. Well, our next guest, I should say, somebody that I've just met, is a representative from an organization called Bella, which has an affiliation with Family Harvest Church right here in Tinley Park. We have with us Jenn McMahon.
Hi.
Hi, Jenn. Nice having you with us.
Thank you.
And you're, since this is really new to me and we didn't have a chance to review this very much in advance, I'm just going to have to ask you right out, other than my granddaughter's name, what is Bella?
Well, obviously you would know Bella means beautiful. And
Yes.
so the purpose of this organization, it's a nonprofit that's goal is to make life more beautiful, specifically for women. It touches a lot of different areas of and ages of women, specifically widows, single moms, those in need. And we do a lot of fundraisers and reaching out to different nonprofits that help the family,
Okay.
help the local community. Really, anything that makes a person's life better is the goal for this organization. And that's kind of the very baseline of our mission.
All right, I've been asked that you try to speak just a little bit louder. Don't yell at me, though. All right, now I understand that, and it seems that we've got a couple of women-related things, but you know what? This is a woman's world.
Yes,
and,
well,
and with
somewhat.
that comes responsibilities and challenges. So it's good to
Yes.
have these organizations.
Absolutely.
What is Bella? So, did you answer why Bella was created then?
Somewhat. It started as a small women's group at a church and has really grown beyond that. We really focus on helping people in need, and the participants do a lot of different things to participate. There's so many different areas, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a minute, but we do a lot of different fundraisers, and one of them actually was this book. This is actually a cookbook that the participants put together called
Really?
Bella's Favorites. It's almost like a compilation of your grandmother's best recipes, because it's a lot of the ladies' best recipes all compiled into a cookbook that we used as a fundraiser for sex trafficking. And we do a lot of things like that. So it seems somewhat random, but really everything points back to helping people.
Okay. Well, that's neat that you brought that. And that is something that is available. People can purchase
Yes.
and what have you. All right. Now, I know there's got to be many different facets to Bella.
Yes.
Well, we've just determined what it is somewhat, why Bella was created. Well, what types of people, and you did touch on that
I
a little
did.
bit, but maybe we can fine tune that a little bit. What types of people
Certainly.
does Bella touch?
Well, it touches, like I mentioned, it touches widows,
Mm-hmm.
touches the single moms, touches orphans.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to ask you, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
because I know in Scripture it's widows and orphans.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hand
all
in
right.
hand.
Yes, yes. All right, so basically that's it. It's widowed women or single women as well, or do they?
Single women mostly benefit at this time from our educational programs. There's a lot of different things that we will do that educate women and teach them what to do, how to manage their time, how to make more money, and how to take care of their family, how to feed their kids healthy. It's a lot of basic needs, but things that they may not have help with and may not be taught by their parents.
And where do they go for this assistance?
Well, a lot of it is based at Family Harvest Church right now, so they can contact the church if they're interested in anything that they're hearing about.
And what's the phone number?
It's 708-614-6000. Pretty easy to remember.
Oh, you did give me that before.
I did.
And the website is naturally www.center31.com.
Center31.com.
www.center, that's CENTER, the numeral 31.com.
Yes.
All right, we got that out, and maybe we'll repeat it later on. But
That website is a plethora of information. Has teaching videos and how-tos for women. Yeah, it's quite a packed website. It's
yeah,
pretty
'cause
neat.
if it's a plethora, I know
Plethora.
it's got to be a, I know I don't. I use that every now and then as well, a cornucopia. Or all right, so how long has Bella been around?
It's actually somewhat new. We are a new nonprofit. We're its own 501c3, but it's been around for about 5 years. It's been growing for about 5 years.
That's kind of new, not brand new, but it's still 5 years is still that's still pretty new.
Still a
5 years.
baby.
Yes. Is Bella a national or an international organization?
It's very much national, very local, but we also do touch some international places. There's organizations in Russia, Mexico. We've sent jewelry to some ladies in Russia before, collected jewelry and sent that, because there's a lot of very hurting women in some of these third world nations. It's
Oh, yeah.
surprising the things that will benefit them, such as jewelry. You wouldn't think that.
It's got to be somewhat uplifting for them.
Very much. Things
Yeah.
that they would never get because they're so poor.
Yeah, I know every day we read in the newspaper about the trials and that a lot of these third world countries, the children are
Yes.
going through.
But mostly local. A lot of what we do, we help the SOS Children's Village. We do something called Bella's Birthdays, that we support the birthdays for the orphans. We make sure they have presents and their birthdays get celebrated. Seems so simple, but it really does make a difference in the long run for somebody to feel valued.
Yeah.
And we help with something called True Religion, and that is an organization, or it's part of the organization, and the widows have outings, because a lot of the times what happens when these men pass away in their lives, they pull in and they don't go out, they get very lonely, they are very, very hurt, but they don't know what to do, what to say, and they don't know how to reach out anymore. So the True Religion is a lot of outings, it's gatherings, things that will help them to just really cope with the loss.
All right, now, once again, this is something that we didn't have a chance to go over, but now you say True Religion. For those people who may be a little bit uncertain about that, this is not proselytizing or preaching and what have you, even though the
No.
name says True Religion.
Yes. The reason they came up with that name, it's a part of Bella, but True Religion, it's just a scripture in the Bible that talks about the true religion is when you minister to widows and orphans. So that's why the name came about, is True Religion. It's just reaching out to widows
All right.
and orphans.
Yeah, we did mention that earlier. So, and you know, it is nice to have some spiritualness in these things because without it, it lacks spirit.
Yeah.
I mean, no pun intended, but then again, maybe a pun intended. What are some of the things that Bella has done, and how do you? I mean, do people need to come to you, or how do you find people as well?
It's different. With our widows ministry, we have with our True Religion, they have people that come to us all the time. They can join into the outings, they can join into the events. With the orphans, of course, it's through the SOS Children's Village. For something we do that's an annual fundraiser.
And Jen, excuse me for we have about 30 seconds. So
Okay.
if there's something that we want to get in, let's do it now. All right.
I would love to talk about Bella's Garden.
If you could quickly.
Something that we do during the summer, and it we grow crops for the local food pantries. So that's something that really benefits the community, and it also allows people to be a part of gathering
And they
that
can participate
produce.
in that.
Yeah, they can participate in that.
Jen, it's a pleasure having you with us. Nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Good luck
You
with the
too.
organization. Well, we've given you the number, 708-614-6000. Give them a call if in need or if you would like to help out. Well, our next guest is naturally a Chamber of Commerce member, none other than Michael Poteetee, who is the owner of Poteetee Insurance Services. Michael is an independent associate representing Aflac, or I should say Aflac. Well, we hear that all the time, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Was that all right?
That's fine.
Okay, they're not going to like,
That's between,
whatever.
There you go.
All right, I don't get any royalties?
Not this time.
Okay, all right. Well, Mike, we've seen each other at a lot of different chamber events.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure seeing you, and I was glad when you finally signed up to be a guest on the show.
Well, I almost forgot, but I'm here.
That's okay,
That's
you're
all that
here.
matters.
You're here. So, Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Not an entire resume, but just a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into what you do with Aflac and what Aflac has to offer.
Well, basically, my name's Mike Poteetee. I'm born and raised in Chicago, moved down to Southern Illinois, came back up in 2006. Basically, how I even got into this industry was after 8 years in the military. I had to figure. I got out at 88. Spent 7 years with the Navy, 1 year with the Marines.
Semper Fi?
Your son loves that.
I know he does.
And basically at that point, I had to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. And I got involved in the insurance industry. And basically for 2 years at the time, the economy took a tank to Southern Illinois.
Yeah.
And I basically had to leave and go make a real job somewhere, and went out and got back into it back in 2009.
2009. So you've been involved with Aflac?
I've been involved in
Since
Aflac since 1988.
1988.
When I got out of the service, I joined,
All right.
became an agent back then, and I've been part-time, very part-time, but became full-time in 2009.
Were you going to fill us in a little bit on Aflac itself?
Yes.
A little bit of a background of the organization.
And I brought one of my
I'm
furry
glad.
little friends for you.
Oh. Wait a minute. Okay. All right, enough. That's cute. Say hello to my little friend. We had to get that in there, didn't we?
We sure did.
I'm glad when you did that, you were just pulling out a duck.
Well, I figured that's probably most appropriate for today.
Yes, certainly. So, well, Mike, what areas do you cover geographically?
I'm an independent agent, so I basically service Indiana and Illinois,
Okay.
and I can branch up in Michigan. Primarily, I just work in the basic South Chicago metro area, and is where my database or domicile area would be.
And you work independently, but on your own? Do you have anybody else working with you?
No, it's just myself. I'm
Just
an
yourself.
independent.
Okay.
I have my own agency, and basically I'm an independent, so I kind of have the ability to work out different companies. But Aflac's been voluntary benefits, and that's why I kind of specialize in it, because I like the concept of what it does.
All right. Now, even though, Aflac does a great job with their little duck here, Aflac. He's been through the mills in some of those commercials. But even
Poor
though
guy.
they do a great job, for the benefit of our viewers, why don't you tell us, all about Aflac, or as much as you can right now.
Well, Aflac is the voluntary benefits.
Volunteer benefits.
Volunteer benefits. What that means is basically you have major health insurance, which takes care of doctors and hospitals. Where Aflac comes in and helps take care of you when you're sick, hurt, laid up, helps complement like when you're out of work. Basically, it helps facilitate paying you based on the programs you have for whatever your scheduled benefits would be. So if you get hurt in an accident, maybe it's $100 a day, and pay you that. So basically, offset your lost income where you can worry about taking care of you, getting healthy and well. That's pretty much what it does in a nutshell, in the grand scheme of things. It allows you to take care of your family. You got the mortgage, you have your car payment, you have life goes on. When you're laid up at home, there's nothing going on, so life goes on.
The bills don't stop, do they?
No, they don't.
They don't. So how does Aflac determine that? Determine what benefit you are entitled to?
Based on the scheduled benefits you get and which program you acquire. You purchase
Okay.
a plan. There's a lot of plans out there, anywhere from 5 for an individual up to group benefits where they can be up as much as 11 programs, and it just basically depends on what you purchase.
Well, why don't you tell us some of them? Because, this is a general description. If you lay out maybe some of the details, not fine details,
Right.
but details about the different programs, maybe there are some of the viewers who will realize that it may apply to them.
Okay. We have the cancer, which is one of a devastating disease. We have cancer. We have accident insurance. A person gets sick, hurt. That covers on the job and off the job. We have hospital indemnities, pays a daily schedule of benefits, and other services for when they're laid up in the hospital, doctor's visits. We have, you know, gosh, I'm drawing a blank now, right now.
That's
We
all
have
right.
some life insurance products also too, which basically allows the employers an employee benefits side. We can go into employer where they may have don't have any benefits at all, as small as 3 employees. We can come and offer a group benefit it will allow them to enhance their programs for their company and or give them benefits, something they may not already have. And basically, we do it on a payroll deduction, and basically they can save some matching taxes, FICA taxes, DB.
Who would you say are some of your, I guess anybody can be a client or a customer of yours, right?
Right. Anybody on this side of the daisies usually helps.
On this side of the
This side of the daisies.
daisies, okay,
Right.
that means
They're up.
above the root level.
Yes.
All right, above the root.
That
root
usually
level,
helps in
okay.
this case.
Yes, okay. So they have to be living.
Yes.
Okay.
You're living and breathing.
And are there any age limitations or?
Depending on what program they have, there's usually it depends which child. If we have children insurance, as much as we have, you know, they go up to 64 years old, up to the time Medicare age cuts in.
So it's up to age 60.
To the Medicare.
Up to
Medicare,
age
65.
64, 364 days.
Yeah, 65.
All right, up to 65.
Right.
Okay.
Because that's when Medicare kicks in. A lot of our programs are not available at that point.
Okay. All right. Now you talked about there's a cancer plan,
Yes. Yeah.
an accident plan.
Right.
Different types of accident plans, or is it?
3 different levels. Yes. There's
What are some of the levels?
just level 1, level 2, and level 3. They just have scheduled benefits for the depending on what they're getting, and it's too much really get into.
And naturally, this is not free, and
No.
we're not at liberty to give like premiums and what
No, I
have you.
cannot.
But each level has its own
schedule.
relative
Yes.
premium and what
Right.
have you.
Level 1 being the basic up to level 3, which is more comprehensive.
Okay. And you said sickness. On the job and off the job. Now we have a couple of minutes left, so
Right.
maybe we should cover that.
Well, the sickness basically, if you go to a doctor, depending on, once again, it has different levels, 1, 2, and 3. It be offered a doctor, maybe much $15 just go to the doctor. You can use that to help pay a copay. Use it if your kids take a McDonald's. We don't care what you do with the money.
Okay.
You do what you want with the money. You can help pay if you have any deductibles, pay through your deductibles. You use the money what you want to see fit for your family. And once again, it covers major medical diagnostics like EEGs, any kind of like stress testing. Some will pay up $150 one time a year per particular type of event. And then it has x-rays, services, and everything else.
All right. So just to clarify that, so people understand, they may have insurance through their employer or on their own.
Right.
And what this does, I would assume then, at a reasonable and a fair premium, it provides them with that additional financial protection.
Yes, that's exactly what it does. We call it just continued life without getting interrupted.
I mean, isn't that great to know that if you do have co-pays and what have you, and it may help, well, let's say people have a deductible, and
Right.
then there's out-of-pocket. It may help a little bit with
Yes.
some of their
Especially new
out-of-pocket as
healthcare
well.
stuff.
All right. Well, Mike, I think we've almost covered everything. Is there something in particular that you would like to say to our viewers as a parting gesture? We got about 20 seconds.
Pretty much, my agency is a full-service agency. I work with individuals and businesses on everything, home, fire, personal, life, disability, everything else. So otherwise, just be safe, enjoy the summer, and, always remember, if you get hurt, there's always...
All right, and you can reach Mike or any of our other guests through the Chamber office at 708-532-5700 or tinleychamber.org. Mike, it was great having you with us.
You too, Joe.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Howard.